George of the jungle, strong as he can be.
How would you like to own a rental property with half the amount down and get more than double the rate of return and not be a landlord? This is something that we're going to discuss in the creditjunk.com today. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is George Anderson. And this is something that was, I started teaching a seller finance class with a very astute real estate investor and a real estate attorney 12 years ago in the state of Utah. And so this is a combination of a lot of different concepts that we're going to bring together here. So I'm not going to do this all in one video. I'm probably going to do it all in one shoot, but then break this up into some parts here. But what I want to do is just discuss how somebody typically buys a rental property. First of all, if somebody decides that they want to be a real estate investor, what are they doing? Are they looking for people that, hey, you know what, I want to find a whole bunch of renters and then I'll find a house and then I'll let them know what's going on? No, what people do is they find the property first, okay? So you go out and you look for a property, you purchase it, and then you hope that you can get a good tenant in the home. So let's just run through a typical example of somebody who is looking to purchase a home that they want to have for investment. And to purchase it as an investment property, you have to have a minimum of 20% down, okay? Now there's a lot of loan programs available that even if somebody doesn't have their tax returns looking right, but if they've got good bank statements or if the rental property is good, as long as you've got the 20% down along with some closing costs and maybe some reserves, so let's maybe say $110,000 minimum, and you have great credit, okay, we're talking ideally we want to be above 700. We can make it work with lower scores than that, but you're going to have adjustments to your interest rate that are going to make your rate of return on the rental property different because your payment would be higher, okay? So, but the typical person would go out and find a home, and we're going to use Utah here with a price range of a $500,000 single family residence. You put down $100,000, you borrow $400,000, and then to simplify things, we're just going to use principal and interest payment only. We're going to have a principal and interest payment of $1,968 per month. And right now, the way that the market is, that if you could find a good tenant, if you find a family that's willing to have a home where they can rent it, hopefully they can come up with their first month's deposit for their rent. Hopefully they would sign a 12-month contract. But fair market rent on this would probably be in about the $3,000 per month price range. Now, again, I'm taking out taxes and insurance, I'm taking out closing costs. Just be aware that these items are there, and I'm just using this for simplification purposes, just so you can understand the math, okay? So in this situation, what is my rate of return? Because I've got $100,000 invested in the property, and I'm going to be getting cash flow of about $1,032 a month, which is the difference between my rent and my payment, okay? So that is, over the course of the first year, that would be cash flow of about $12,384. Divided by your $100,000 investment, you've got a solid 12% rate of return on your property. Now, that makes some assumptions in there. Number one, it makes the assumption that your tenant is actually going to pay the rent every single month and that they're going to be there for the full year. Okay, we've talked about in other videos that we plug in what's called a vacancy factor, and that's typically 75%. It's vacancies and maintenance. Well, you're going to have some maintenance if it is a traditional rental contract, because you could have the hot water heater going out. You could have a variety of issues. You could have appliances, landscaping. Who knows what you're going to have on there. But you're probably, looking in a vacuum, you would get the 12%. In reality, you're probably going to get something less than that, okay? But for somebody who really is a big fan of real estate investing, which I am, it's called real for a reason, it's real estate. And if you came out making a 9 to a 10% rate of return every year, plus you have the upside where this property's going up in value, this may be a good way to go if you want to be a landlord and under the landlord-tenant statutes of the state of Utah, okay? What I'm going to suggest is that there might be a way to make this work a little bit better. And what it involves a little bit of backwards thinking, okay? Rather than looking for a home to purchase as a rental property, What I've been doing, and a lot of other people have been doing for about the past 4 years now, is we look for buyers. We look for buyers who want to buy a home. These are families who might be in a situation with their credit, with their down payment, with their immigration status, who have an undefined period of time where they may not be able to qualify for 2 years, 3 years, or they just don't know if that would ever happen. However, they work. They put a roof over the head for their families, and they have a down payment, and we're looking for people that have a minimum down payment of 10%. Now, if they've got that 10% down, now we're going to look at putting together a different type of contract. And we're going to run the numbers on this, and we'll come back and we'll show you what the alternative to this might be. So again, thanks for coming into thecreditjungle.com. We're going to go and put some new stuff on the board and come back for part 2 of, I don't know how many parts this is going to be. So thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.